Welcome to EntreProgrammers Podcast, the podcast for developreneurs, the podcast where you get to be a fly on the wall listening to real conversations of three developers trying to tackle the challenges they face as entrepreneurs.
All right, we're live. That was quick.
Yay!
Yeah, I was saying that MicroConf, Josh was sorely missed. So many people were asking about Josh. He's like the inaccessible celebrity. But
leave them wanting more.
That's right.
I had this one guy that I was talking to at dinner with Mike Tabor, and he's got this like language learning course online, and he's got an email list of Manny.
Hey.
He's got an email list of like 1 million subscribers, I think.
Holy cow.
He's getting like 2 million page views a month on his site. And they sell like a language learning course, like kind of like a pimp slur type of thing. And get this, Josh, you're gonna crap yourself when you they don't do any email marketing.
Oh my god.
They convert through the website alone. Through instead of putting email opt-in, and this is it. Okay, they have 1 million email subscribers, right?
Right.
But they've gotten them not by doing like their main, like on their blog posts, they do content marketing. Their call to action is to buy the product. It is not to get the email.
So that's 1 million customers.
Well, it's not quite that, because they do have some like opt-ins to like download the PDF of the page and stuff.
Okay.
But their main call to action is that. So they're selling completely through random web page visits, like from people going from here to the sales page. So and they send out an email they send out a weekly newsletter that's just a roundup of all their posts. That's all they do. To the 1 million subscribers, their open rate is like 10 to 15%, I think. So it's pretty low. But I told him, I was like, well, two things. I was like, first of all, we got to get Josh Earl in here. And you just need to do a damn launch of your own product, like a 20, 30% discount just to your own list, 3-day sale. Send out 6 or 7 emails, and I told him you'll double your revenue. You'll double your revenue. You'll make $500,000 in 3 days, right? And he will for sure. I mean, and he's like, well, I said, that you'll probably get on that list, even with the open rates being low, because the open rates will be much higher when the subject line is sale, right? If you've never done a sale, because they're all virgins, right? As I was telling them, like everyone on your list is a virgin. They've never been sold to before. You've never propositioned them. So you've got a list full of virgins. I told them you're going to get a conversion rate on your list of at least 1%, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was 2 or 3% because your price point is low. And he was doubting it. He was like, I don't know if I'd get 0.5%. Like at 0.5%, I think he makes $500,000.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of hard to pass up.
Yeah. Plus, he can do affiliate deals with that big list. So he's mentioned. I told him literally if he uses the email list and he sells his own product and he does some affiliate deals, he can easily triple his revenue. So his revenue is already really, really high. So
that's crazy.
We're talking about a guy that I met at MicroConf that has this language learning course, but he's not using any kind of email marketing, and he's got 1 million subscribers. Huh?
What's his website?
I'm not sure what it is. Like,
we might not want to mention it.
Yeah, we might.
Type it into the chat. Just
online. Yeah, put it in the chat.
Yeah, all our traffic will crash his site, right?
That's right.
Might be a big problem.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, Josh, you need to I told him that I'll try and hook him up with you.
Yeah, maybe do some consulting. Sounds like he needs some re-education.
Yeah.
I need to open a Josh Earl re-education center. You come in and
Here it is. I'll put it just in the.
Not even re-education. It's marketing education.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's it. So anyway, yeah, you missed out on Vegas, Josh. Everyone was looking for you.
How
At
was
first,
it?
people want to talk to me, and then they're like, "But wait a minute, where's Josh?"
Yeah.
They're really using you to get to me.
Exactly.
See,
There you go.
you're like the big billboard that walks around. Like
Right.
when we were walking around at Traffic and Conversion, it was great. I was like, man, if I had John when I was freelance copywriting, that would have been awesome, because everybody walks around like he comes up and wants to squeeze his biceps, and then I can kind of transition that right smoothly into copywriting, you know?
Exactly.
And I got all the clients I could use.
Yeah.
We spent some time together, and I didn't squeeze your biceps once, John.
Well, you missed out. So
I did miss out. We'll have to do it again or do it next year. Of course, I only went to the first day of the conference, so
Yeah. I won't. Yeah.
yeah, I was kind of a mess. My dad passed away last Friday,
Oh,
so yeah, we found out.
after the call.
Yeah, so we got off the call. I went to take him to the wedding, and he told me he couldn't go. And
Oh my gosh.
yeah, they took him back to the rehab center, and he became unresponsive, and so they called 911 and took him to the emergency room, and he died in the emergency room.
So what happened to the wedding? Did it go like while the wedding was going on?
Yeah, so Mormon weddings are a little different from most other weddings. So we have a ceremony in the temple. And we're sealed together for time and all eternity. And when you go in the temple, it's a sacred place. So you turn your phone off, among other things. And so, we were there, and I got to be one of the witnesses for my sister's wedding because my dad couldn't make it. But anyway, so we were in the temple. All of our phones were off. We did the whole ceremony. And then when I got back out, I turned my phone on, and there was a voicemail from the rehab center saying that they'd taken him to the emergency room and they didn't know anything. So I called them. I got the phone number for the emergency room, and I called the emergency room, and they told me that he had passed away. We were still waiting for my sister and her new husband to come out. So
Oh my
we
gosh.
kind of held it together for the pictures, and then my mom told her when they went back in to change out of her wedding dress.
Oh gosh. Wow.
Yeah.
So anyway, I went to the conference on I flew. I don't know why, but I still went to MicroConf. So I was down there on Sunday, and it was sort of okay off and on, but yeah, I just kind of needed a quiet space, so I wound up hanging out with John in his hotel room for about an hour, and kind of Anyway, so that was a mess. I was okay on Monday, and then Tuesday I couldn't go. I couldn't do anything, so I went and saw the new Avengers movie, and that didn't help me feel better, but it took my mind off things for a couple hours. And yeah, but anyway, so the rest of the week has just kind of been dealing, spending time with family and trying to make everything kind of come together and just processing stuff. So anyway, it's been a deal. What was that?
Were you guys expecting this?
No, he had some health issues for quite a while. And he was in the rehab center, and they were telling us that he was getting better. They were talking to us about, they had just done surgery on his feet, and they were trying to alleviate some of the infection that was there. And, anyway, it was kind of unexpected. We didn't really see it coming. We thought we still had a few more years with him. So
He was still working up until really recently. So
yeah, we forced him to retire a few months ago, and that turned out to be a blessing in disguise, because now we can just focus on the handful of things that he wouldn't let go of, instead of having to try and shut down his business now. While we're all grieving. So that's been a kind of a good thing. Yeah.
yeah.
Really
Anyway,
sorry.
so yeah. But yeah,
Really sorry.
it's just been time with the family, crying and talking and planning, and Yeah. But my sister and my mom are flying to Denver this afternoon for her other wedding reception because that's where my new brother-in-law's from. So they're doing all that, and we're doing the funeral a week from Saturday. So
Okay. Man.
yeah. But
No
anyway,
one else
sorry
gets to complain today.
Yeah. No, it's fine. I don't mean to put a damper on this, but yeah, that's kind of been my week. So.
No, man.
But yeah, and it was just a roller coaster too because the wedding and everything. Yeah.
How old was he?
He was 63.
Oh no,
Man.
really young.
Yep. But anyway, I don't want to take over the whole podcast talking about it. So yeah.
How was MicroConf for you guys?
The talks that I sat through were good, and the hallway track that I managed to get was good.
You went to growth. You both did growth, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't see John very much, honestly, at the conference, so I don't know what he did.
I wasn't there that much. I was mostly hallway track. It's funny. A lot of people are like, "Why are you here?" So,
What do retired people do at conferences anymore?
what's that?
What do retired people do at conferences these days?
Exactly.
Go sit by the pool and retire.
I did. I was hanging out with my buddy Carlos over there too, and it's funny. They had like this the growth and the reception, right? The growth and starter reception where is combined, and I kidnapped the two sponsors, and we left the event. They're like,
man.
"Oh, we're sponsoring the thing." I'm like, yeah, that's right. Let's go have some fun. So we all went out.
Nice.
So I have no idea if those guys got in trouble or not, but that was funny. My powers of persuasion still are intact. But no, the conference was good. Like there was it was good just to like the main reason why I go is just to like catch up with all the people that from previous years. So that's really the cool thing about the conference is so many people. It's like I think more than 50 or 60% of the conference is like repeat attendees, right? So that's kind of cool. So I did an interview with John. Is it Huang? John, I think. Anyway, he had interviewed me last year, and so we did like a follow-up interview. And I'm trying to remember who Josh.
He's the one that he introduced. He's the one that did the real estate thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
he organized that.
And a bunch of people came up to me and told me that they bought real estate. So in the last year,
Wow.
So that was kind of cool. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then, you had like a super fan, the guy that had the video camera last year. I can't remember his name now. Justin Jackson. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's like probably your number one mega fan. First he was like, "Oh, do you know John Sonmez? He has a huge YouTube channel." And then he started introducing people. He was like, "Hey, this is John Sonmez. He's partners with Josh Earl." So then it's pretty much like, yeah. So.
You get to be in my shadow for once.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, he's your number one fan, I think. So.
Yeah, he's the one that introduced me to Podia.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, to Spencer at Podia. He was one of the first users.
Okay.
Yeah, but John pretty much summed up why I go too. I go to catch up with people and meet new people.
Yeah,
the talks are nice, but they record those. So
yeah,
I watch them
exactly.
whenever.
Yeah.
And I may have slept in a little bit late, so some of the days, but hey.
Yeah, I'll have to think about going next year. Let's see.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll make it an every other year kind of thing.
People were asking. I was like, well, kind of. Josh doesn't really like Vegas that much. It's like he's kind of a go to bed at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
the face mask on guy. Like, and I'm more of a like go to bed. When? Like 5 a.m., 6 a.m.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and not only, but I mean, 9 p.m. normally, but in Vegas for me that's like 9 p.m. is like midnight. So I'm like,
Yeah.
it's really scary. But.
Yeah.
Yo, man. I hate Vegas.
You hate Vegas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. To me, it's like the whole town is like the whole city is like one giant truck stop.
Right? There's nothing.
Well, the problem is they sell it on all the wrong things, right? And
What do you mean?
so, it's all the gambling and, just come and, do whatever you want. And for me, I mean, the things that I like about Vegas are all on the outskirts. None of it is on the strip.
Okay.
Like some of the, I guess some of the bigger casinos are kind of cool to go see, but the rest of it is just, it's a waste. Like some of the shows you can go see, like some of the magic shows or some of the other things, you can see those on the strip, but like for me, it's like the deals on the buffets and all that stuff, and I can just kind of go and hang, and all of that's off the strip for me. Like I'll go wander through MGM or Venetian or Bellagio, and those are fun, but yeah, like the gambling and the drinking and all that stuff, it just doesn't appeal to me at all.
I've seen some crazy shit in Vegas.
I'll bet. I think part of the issue too, though, is that I've been to Vegas. I can't even count how many times, and so a lot of the novelty's worn off too.
All right, so I'm in the process of writing my sales page, which
okay.
Yay!
3 days has taken 30 days to write. God damn it! It's like one of the projects.
Yes.
Bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So right now it's just a draft, as in it's still a work in progress. But I'd love for you guys just to take a quick look. I mean, there are some disconnects there, so you will be like, "What the fuck is this?" But quite okay. Just take a look and give me your first impressions. Tell me what you think, so I can improve some of these things.
Yeah.
My brain has been seared with red. There's these red headlines are. Now I'm blinking and looking away, and I'm still seeing them. Okay, so I'll give you some feedback here. So, I am not a fan of the style of page where everything is broken up by big blocks of anything, because it impedes the reading experience. So really, like for if you're going to write a long page, the number one goal is to get people into it and get them reading quickly. And so anything that you do at the top of the page that detracts from that is kind of hurts you. So all the stuff above the fold, I mean, I would definitely, I would suggest getting rid of the big red and green blocks and just making them black headlines, because it's so much more readable. And the quotes, the 3 across quotes like that, these are, I would get right into your main case immediately and save the quotes. Quotes and testimonials are a device that you bring in when somebody's almost sold. They're a kick people off the fence device, not a get their attention device.
Except that with meditation, a lot of people may not even be sold on the idea of the real benefits of it. So it's like, let me first show you, or let me show you a proof that it actually works, and then let me show you how it works for me. That's what
but if they're not sold on meditation and they see your headline, learn to meditate in 4 weeks, they're going to bounce right there.
Yep.
So if you're trying to sell people on the merits of meditation, you need a different sales page for those people.
Right. Yeah, you need to think about where, so you need to know where people are currently the dominant, like, so the biggest chunk of people that you're wanting to sell to, are they like skeptical about meditation, or have they tried it and failed? Are they already fans of it and they just want a way to do it better? Like that, and you need to know like where they are mentally, so you can start at the right place. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And that really, like, you can do a lot of that heavy lifting. So yeah, so just to give you some reassurance, probably most of this will matter a whole lot less because you're doing this from your email list and they're already fans of you, and chances are you're going to get 80% of the sales regardless of what the sales page says. So where this type of thing really gets more critical is when you're selling to newer, colder traffic, newer people that are not as familiar with you.
Yeah.
Learn to meditate in 4 weeks. That's like a headline that works for people that had a high level of awareness about meditation. If they are still kind of, either they're still learning about it or still skeptical, then you probably would want to pick a benefit that you think is most that's most appealing, and you can start there. Or you start with a problem that they're suffering from that meditation can help with.
Here's what I suspect would be the biggest one. Okay, so state of awareness for meditation, right? People who are in your audience read books.
Right.
Anyone who reads books, the most popular thing to put in any personal development book today is your morning routine, which involves meditation, right? It's in every single one. There's not a person who's any way into productivity or self-improvement who does not know of meditation. But, right, just like me, Manny, right? What do all these people have in common? They all feel super guilty because they're not doing it. They should be doing it. They know they should be doing it. They know that it's one of the most scientifically proven things to improve your focus in your brain.
Yeah.
And so many of the benefits. They're at least tangentially aware of them, but they feel super, super guilty because they just aren't doing it. So that's what I would lead with. That's
finally an easy way to start meditating, to bring meditation into your morning routine in 4 weeks. Something along those lines.
Or even like tired of feeling guilty for not meditating when you know you should.
Right.
Conquer it now. Get started as easy as possible. Right. Like hit on the idea that I mean, this is, you could test it out, but I have a feeling if you go with the guilt hook and if you basically say feel guilty about not meditating, I'll show you how to do it. I think that will, like, I'll make it easy, whatever it is.
You can do, and what you can do with your emails too is to try for the people that aren't at that state, you can kind of fast forward them a little bit. And so, like, you're talking about Tim Ferriss and how he found that like all these top performers are meditating, and so you're kind of like very quickly advancing them to that point, where kind of catching them up with everyone else.
Yeah. I'll also tell you that, like, I don't feel guilty for not having the habit, but I would like to get into the habit. Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, any language around building the habit of meditation, I think is really powerful.
What's your reason for not meditating?
I'm super busy. And so I wind up just not doing it. And it's totally an excuse, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we all know that I don't have time as code for I'm not making it a priority.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you mine. So my biggest reason, honestly, I don't know how widespread this will be, but so I did it for I don't know, a couple months maybe. I used like Headspace, and my biggest problem is that I get up at 5:15 right now. My kids get up, like I get showered, get downstairs. My kids get up not too long after that, and in my house, they're banging around. They are like, I literally do not have a quiet place to go for where I know. And so what happens is I would sit down and I'd immediately be like, I got to get this in before my kids wake up. So it was actually stressful, even just for that 10 or 15 minutes. It was actually stressful rather than relaxing. And I was able to, like, I felt like I really enjoyed it for like the first few times I did it in the first week or so. And then after that, it got to be really, it got harder actually, I felt like I was not making any progress at all. And it was just getting harder and harder. The more I did it. But yeah, I mean, there have been a few times where I did it and I was like, wow, this is really great. And I feel really good. But yeah, that's just been my experience so far. At some point, I would like
just
to.
Your kids, my kids, they never, ever are like that.
Yep.
So yeah, so that's another possible lead-in would be, would you like to meditate, but you feel like you don't have enough time, or like don't have enough time to meditate? I'll show you how to make the time. I'll show you how to like meditate in, make it as easy as possible, like something like that too, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Why were you not meditating all this time until I made you do it?
Right. Yep.
Why were you not doing it?
But because I don't have the time. Right. Like
Yeah,
I feel guilty, like I should. I mean, and maybe you hit on both of those things. I think most people who feel they don't have the time feel guilty that they know they should be doing it because it will make them better, but they don't have the time.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you did have the time, did you have the tools? Did you know how to do it, or was that going to be the next thing to figure out?
I mean, that's I don't think that's like super hard to find, but yeah, I don't think I was concerned about that. Like I said, it's mostly just not feeling like I don't have the time.
Yeah, because you can't see the benefits right off the bat. So it's like, what the fuck am I wasting my 20 minutes of the day with?
Well, even saying something like this, right? Like, okay, if someone's objection is, I don't have the time, right? Because their awareness level should be pretty high. Then maybe you're saying something like, meditation can be as effective even if you do it as little as 2 minutes a day, right? Something like that, like you're telling me, right? So something to get them hooked in so that they feel like, oh, really? Okay, so maybe I could do this program if it's, so.
Right.
I think honestly, if you could put up a headline that looks something like building a habit of meditation for busy people or something like that, where you could just hit that. And I mean, I'd look at that and I'd be like, sign me up. That's me. Right.
Meditation for busy programmers.
There you go. I wonder if busyprogrammer.com is available. And then I'll compete with Josh and John.
And Kazi, right?
Yeah.
Clever programmer. We're just going to have all these star programmer spin-offs out there.
Yeah.
Tired programmer, confused programmer.
The problem with, Josh, what you're saying, like making it big block of monotonous text, it's almost like people tune out just because it's so much.
No, it shouldn't be a big block of monotonous text. It should be easy to digest and nicely broken up.
Yeah.
But if you have the big squares and rectangles around all that stuff, my brain doesn't know where to go first.
Okay, so
sequential and easy to follow. That's I think what you're aiming for.
I've spent a good amount of time watching people read sales pages on screen capture videos. And what I see, especially on mobile, is like on our sales pages, scroll, and then there's a photo of John that is off to the side. It's off to the right normally, but when you when you're on mobile, it shifts and it takes up the full screen, like it centers.
Yeah.
And they hit that, and so they're like reading, hit that. Usually they scroll up a little bit, then they scroll down, and then they start scrolling down the page and not reading. They start skimming. It's like a speed bump, and as soon as they hit that, their attention breaks and they're off.
What about the people on normal, like non-mobile, as in desktop experience?
Wait, say that again. I missed one word you said.
What about people on desktop? What are you seeing?
Well, I don't have any pages specifically that are. I haven't A/B tested. We did test the we did A/B test the the book landing page for the book when we were launching the book. And what I found there was that the nicer design version that we did converted the same to email signups, but the read time was lower. People were spending less time on the page. So I think what was happening was that the people that were opting in, I mean, both of them had opt-ins above the fold, so it was like, very big call to action. But then people were reading less because it was broken up. It was broken up into sections. And that just, it interrupts especially the worst is like when you've got these blocks and they've got text, like you'll be reading down, you want the text to be on the left side of the page, an unbroken line, ideally, all the way down. And what people do is they'll have these color blocks where it's like, one screen full of text and it's like 300 words of text and it'll be over on the right. And then you scroll down and then it'll be over on the left. So your eye is like doing this zigzag back and forth across the screen. And it's just completely like, it's like begging people to scroll and skim and not read. If you have a long story that you need them to absorb, then optimizing for reading is the way to go.
There are three angles that I see that are important that I want to bring out. One is my own personal story, my own journey.
Right.
The second is the scientific research that's out there now, like almost conclusive evidence with MRIs and stuff like that showing the benefits of meditation. So I'm not really selling Deepak Chopra or Oprah Winfrey kind of deal where it's like find inner peace and joy. I'm actually selling improve your brain performance and learning and all those things primarily. Everything else comes secondary, stress and all those things are like. So that I want to showcase it because people may or may not know about those things because a lot of meditation is just about it's just like, hey, you can chill out for a bit and bliss out and all that crap, right?
Right.
The third angle is that a lot of successful people do it. It's not just some like hippie shit like from Tim Ferriss's book, as he was talking about, like 80% of people are meditating today. 80% of the successful people he's been interviewing are meditating. So I want to get all those different angles, like billionaires and players and
Okay. So what I would probably do just based on that is I would start with like in the headline, probably start with what you said about. I actually liked what you said the other week about this is like the operating manual for your brain or whatever, right? So start with like, this is going to improve your mental performance. And then something about the time commitment that we've been talking about, right? That's like kind of the main objection.
Yeah.
So you get the benefit without a huge time investment. And then the other three things that you talked about are all basically different forms of proof elements, right? So you've got your story, which is a proof element. And I think that your story, if I were writing this, I would start with your story because that's going to be the most engaging, relatable thing and easy to read, right? And then you go, okay, but I'm not just making this stuff up. And I probably would bring in the celebrities, the Tim Ferriss type stuff next, and then here's why all this works. And then you've got some of the scientific stuff to back it up. You do want to be careful with the scientific stuff and not go too deep into it because people will start you don't want people make buying decisions out of the emotional side of the brain, and when you flip them over into the analytical side, I saw they did a test where they compared two fundraising appeals. One where they told the story of this little girl from Africa who was struggling something and helped by the donations, and then they told the same story and they brought in some statistics to kind of zoom the camera out and give more scope to the problem, and doing that actually broke the spell, and they ended up with less contributions from that version, even though it seemed like I personally would have guessed that would be more effective. But just sticking with the girl's story was more more effective. So I would say, like, I think it's probably good because your audience is going to want to see some of that. So I think bringing some of that in is good, but just be careful. Don't geek out about it too much.
Okay, so what I was thinking was like different phases of the story. There are different benefits that I pull out. Like, okay, in this phase this happened, and this phase this happened, and then I can say, hey, it happened to me, but look at the science that actually says that it's happening as well. And then keep going back to the story, and then maybe refer to science for just a little bit, and then go back to the story.
Yeah, that could work. Yeah, so you'd be anchoring bits of scientific backing.
Bullshit. It's a story, but it's also real science that's backing up my claims.
Right.
And then at the end, I can go into all the other people who are meditating, and then do like more like what this workshop is, some cute.
Might be interesting also to start with that one story about like the guy that said that he didn't have time to meditate, and then he says then and then he's told that he needs to take 2 hours a day to meditate, right? That would be a good one too. So is to lead into everything with that.
Yeah, exactly. If it's the busy people we're targeting, then that's the only way to get their attention. Yeah. But then it's also a funny anecdote in some ways. People are like, okay, well, yeah, that makes sense. But how do we get them to engage with that idea? How do we? The thing I want to sell them the most is that if you give me 20 minutes of your day, I'll give you literally more than an hour or two of your day because of what you get out of meditation.
Well, that's what that story illustrates, really. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Was that the headline?
I said that there's your headline, or one of them. Yeah.
So I'm going to keep it pretty simple in terms of testing. So I'll just one rather than
consider your audience too, right? They are people who are buying book summaries.
Yeah.
So they're definitely, that definitely is going to appeal to them, right? They're looking for a shortcut, right? They're not, instead of reading books, they want the summary of the book. So.
Yeah, and the other, of course, the other side of the benefit is accelerated learning, because that's a huge part of meditation as well, as it improves reading and memory and parts of hippocampus and cerebellum and all those things. So I want to highlight that as well as a time saver. But I feel like putting too many benefits might be confusing as well. It's almost like
so you really only can lead with one. That's where this is so difficult. So on a sales page like this, or any kind of promotion, there's like 3 or 4 things that are a really big deal as far as what swings the response. And the angle that you pick here at the beginning, that's number 1. So that's why, it's not even really worth talking about the rest of the sales page too much until you nail down the angle. And like kind of where that's like the starting point of it for the conversation. And then the rest of it kind of falls into place is when you already know like where you're starting, and then the end point because it's your product. And then it's like a lot easier to walk people through once you know what that main angle. So like the angle, the main benefit or angle that you're going to be starting from is big. Obviously the offer, guarantee, and the guarantee and all that stuff. Those are like the biggest pieces of it.
Yeah, honestly, what I would do is I would actually send an email out to your list and just say, look, I'm going to open up 10 20-minute calls where I can talk to people about meditation and just answer any questions, go over any concerns you have about building a habit on it or whatever. And then when you talk to them, then what you wind up doing is then you have the conversation, and I would record the conversations. I've done this before for a couple of other things. But what you'll find that, you're going to have the majority of people are going to have the same concerns, and they'll use a lot of the same language to describe the problem, and that's your headline. Mm-hmm. Because then what it is you're essentially pulling that idea out of their head, and then you can put that on the page. And then the other stuff that, that they bring up, oh, well, I also have this problem or that problem, you can sprinkle that in through the rest of your sales page. Right. But the main headline is the thing that they're saying right off the bat when you say, so I understand you're having trouble building a habit of meditation. Well, yeah, I blah, 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 blah. And that's it. That's your headline right there. Boom. you know, I have this problem and I have these life circumstances, and that's why it's hard. And then if you can solve that problem for them, that's where the money is.
Traditionally, where you'd bring in other benefits would be like in the bullets section of the page. So you're kind of like, you have like the main, there's like the main pitch that's just sort of, should be pretty simple. And my copywriting mentor used to make me write it out, and he'd like limit me to like 3 or 4 bullet points. Like, these are the 3 or 4 things, the 3 or 4 steps that I need to walk people through. These are the things they need to believe before they'll want to buy this product. And then like anything other than that, you can put it into the kind of the bullets where you're talking about like the other benefits of, and you just, you know, you can have as many of those as you want.
Okay.
Now that we've just taken 40 hours worth of work and made it into 120.
and if all that fails, you know, the real simple route is just to do what we do here at EntreProgrammers, which is to use the Justin Bieber meme that says "fuck you, buy my shit," and then just put a buy button below that.
Is that working well, Josh?
It was working great for a while, and now for some reason, I think Justin Bieber's not as popular anymore.
It was a John Zonmas meme, not just.
There you go.
Hey, one more thing. I'm thinking of actually doing a VSL. So the letters, like, I part of me, like, I don't want to write the whole story in text. I'd much rather convey it in video. So right now it is just in a text format so that I'm like organizing my thoughts. But I'm thinking of doing a video instead of like doing this long form.
So yeah, so basically all the same with the VSL, pretty much all the same techniques and everything apply. Like everything we talked about here is relevant for that. Doing it as a text page first and seeing how it does probably would be a good idea, because once you've got the VSL, now you've got to remake it again if you need to change it. So it's a little bit more kind of cast in stone at that point. And really, I mean, there's nothing, VSLs often do convert better, but there's nothing magical about a VSL. It's like, it's really the pitch itself. And if it doesn't work on a text page, it's probably not going to work in a VSL either.
You know, it'd be cool, like a choose your own adventure VSL that like is like, you know, you had options to click here and it gave you a different. That would be a good product, actually.
That's kind of what Ryan Levesque does a little bit with the survey, like the ask methodology. He fill out the survey ahead of time, and then you get you end up making, like, I did one of these projects. It was such a pain, but you end up making like 30 or 50 VSLs, and they're short, and they're all the same, except you swap out like the specifics of their situation. So I had to write like 36 scripts, and it was like for a blood sugar control type product. And so I had there were all these different categories that people could fall into, and you had to come up with, you had to tweak the script to work for that category. So you're speaking to their specific problem, and you're still selling the same product, but you're telling them why it will work for their situation.
Right.
So that can work, but it's definitely, it was a lot of work.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like it'd have to be like you could make a product that has like an actual like video hosting where you click, it's interactive, almost like Flash, right?
Oh gosh, Flash. Well, you could do it like a phone, like one of those. You could have a computer generated voice. So it'd be like, "Are you suffering from fatigue, inattention?" You know, click 1, press 1.
So my story starts with one benefit, then goes to another benefit, then goes to another benefit, then goes to another benefit, because there are different parts of the story that exemplify different benefits over time. Are you saying I just stick with one?
You start with one.
Yeah.
You have to start with the benefit that's going to be the most appealing to your audience. You can bring in other benefits. That's fine.
It doesn't have to be timeline because the first benefit was performance under stress, like interview stress or exam stress. That was the benefit.
Right.
Then it came to fast learning and also performance under stress. Then it became more fast learning and performance under stress and all that stuff. So different ways of kind of, yeah.
So what you would do, I mean, like, it doesn't have to be 100% chronological. Like, you can go, you know, you can start with like, so it depends. One factor here is whether you're going to start in heaven or hell. Okay, so you can start your story. You can start your story with, like, this is how wonderful things are. You can tell an anecdote that's like, this is how this amazing thing happened, and 3 years before this never would have happened. Let me tell you about it. And then you zoom back 3 years and you talk about the before. Or you can start with, like, yourself in, like, the pit of hell, like struggling with something, and how you came out of it. And it really depends. Like, it can go either way. The tricky part is knowing what your audience will respond. Like, some audiences are more receptive to like an opportunity type of pitch, and some are more receptive to, like, life sucks. You know, like, they're more pessimistic, more negative, versus like, entrepreneurs tend to be very. That's why why direct marketing to entrepreneurs works so well, because they're very, like, you know, manic and optimistic, and they like want to believe that these crazy promises are true. But then, like, software developers are kind of more on the other end of the scale, where it's like, if you tell them you can triple your income, they're going to be like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
I also think there's an issue of, like, whether or not, I mean, do you need to sell them on meditation? I don't know if you do, right? This is like, I think this is the biggest question you have to ask, is like, because, okay, if their awareness level is already such that which I think it is, I think it's that they know what meditation is, they've seen enough Tim Ferriss, they've seen enough, you know, that they know a lot of the benefits. I mean, they might not know them all, but they know it's beneficial. They know they should be doing it. They feel like they don't have time, and they feel like they're guilty. That's what I would guess. And maybe if you did what Chuck says and called up got a few people on the phone, you could confirm it. So I think their awareness level is already there. And what you need to sell them on in that case is that it won't take too much time. It'll be worth the investment. They'll get more time out of it. It'll make them more productive. It's not as hard as they think. And you've got a simple solution to make it easy for them to get into the habit of meditating. If it's the other case, the other thing to sell would be, if their awareness isn't that why they need to meditate, that's where the benefits of meditation come in. That's where, you know, someone who's uneducated on this, what you're selling them meditation, and then you're saying, okay, and I have the course that will teach it. So I feel like those are two different levels of awareness. And two totally different sales pitches. And I feel like the first one is going to fit your audience more than the second one. So,
Manny, remember we did the bulldog mindset? Like, basically, this is what we saw. Like, the people that were on our list, there were a set of people that were interested in the idea of mental toughness, and it was like virtually impossible, if they were not interested in it already, to convince them that they needed to be interested in it. So, and like we did another product launch, the JavaScript Launchpad one, where I looked at the numbers afterwards, and so the first email that I sent, so we sent like 5 emails talking about the idea of, like, basically how, like, talking about how some of these server-side languages are being overshadowed by JavaScript, and, like, kind of trying to build the case for learning JavaScript. And then the first sale email had the word JavaScript in the subject line, okay? If they didn't click that one that said JavaScript, or there was one other email that said JavaScript, if they didn't click that, they didn't buy. If they didn't open those emails, they didn't buy, because that was like a flag that said, I'm interested in JavaScript. So they were already thinking about JavaScript, and it's very difficult to in a short time frame like this, to get people excited about something if they weren't already kind of wanting to do it. I tend to see now these short-term sales or launches or anything is really more like a harvest than a time to persuade. I did that experiment a few weeks ago where I don't think I actually ended up talking about this, but I split up I sent half the list a promotion that was spread out over 5 days, I think. 4 days, 5 days. It was the same email sequence, but spread out. And then I did my ultra compressed 2-day thing. And it ended up being that we got more clicks and opens from the longer campaign, but we ended up with the same sales.
Mm.
So I tend to see like any like a short-term promotion like this, to me, is more like you're going out in the field, you're harvesting whatever wheat is ripe. And then it's going to take, like, if you're going to really persuade people, I think it's going to take, in most cases, it's a much longer process. And a lot of times what's just happening is that people's lives are changing and suddenly they're paying attention to whatever it is, like some little switch flipped in the back of their head. And now they're ready to hear what you have to say, versus that's really, to me, is the value of an email list, is that you have the time to wait for people to come around.
Yeah.
Versus like, I think that there is some persuasion that goes on, but I don't think it's as much as most people like to believe.
True. It's like when I'm ready and the product appears in my email inbox.
Yep.
But
exactly. Like I've been off and on Brian Dean's list for years, and I read some of his blog posts and everything, and then like John retires, and suddenly I'm like, oh crap, I need SEO, and I'm like, he launches his thing, and I drop $1,000, right? And that no amount of persuasion 6 months ago, he could have sent me 30 emails trying to get me to buy it, and I wouldn't have bought it.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, we just can't.
But yeah, I kind of agree. I think I kind of agree with John as far as like probably your best bet is to be talking to the people who are already wanting to do meditation, but just haven't, for whatever reason, haven't cracked it yet. And in your emails, I think in the emails, that's where I would do some level of like the benefits, talking about the benefits of meditation. And the sales page is more like for people that are highly aware of the benefits of meditation.
That's true. And you could do with that also is you could have an email course as an opt-in that's teaching them like the basics, but that also educates them on the benefits. And that's kind of what's that?
Exactly what I have right now.
Okay, so that's like your training wheels. So then the people, by the time they get to the sales page, they should already be aware of the benefits. They should already be wanting to. They should be overcoming the objections at this point, like because they know it's good. Because it's like it's not hard to sell. It's like, I mean, it's like eating your veggies. It's like okay, or like lifting weights. It's like it's beneficial for sure. Okay, you got me on that. But you got to overcome all the buts, right? That's the thing. It's not like something where something you're selling that is like questionable of the value of it, right? The value of what you're pitching is already known. It's just the objections of I don't have enough time. I'm not sure if it's worth investing this time. It's too hard to get started, right? I suck at it. That's another, like, what I mean? Like I can't do it. I tried it and I failed. That was another one, right? Like because I can't get my mind to like focus. All those type of objections.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any fruit.
What?
To bring for the TM. You got to bring fruit.
I don't care about TM, but yeah. Get you on a freaking mantra. But I think it still works, but it's so freaking superficial compared to the depth you can get into. But anyways, that's a separate conversation altogether.
Yeah.
But TM, what they have done is they have done tremendous motherfucking marketing.
Yeah, they have.
Like no one else. And it's so simple. It's so stupid and brain dead simple that anyone can literally like not feel like they're failing at it. But at the same time, it is a marketing machine beyond anything I've ever seen in terms of the spiritual aspect of it, or the
Yeah.
in terms of the fact that this is one of those really spiritual thing per se. They got all the Hollywood celebrities lined up for them.
Right.
Really well.
That's what Schwarzenegger did.
Yeah. A lot of Hollywood celebrities line up for that shit, and then they have sponsored a few researches, and all those researches, it's not like meditation, it just says transcendental meditation does this benefit, and you look up and you're like, what the hell? It's just such a small part of the meditation world, but marketing, amazing.
It's like CrossFit.
Yeah.
All right, so check this out. Could use your guys' opinion on this. I did a poll using the community tab on YouTube.
Okay.
And I said, how many videos would you like to see me make per day? Right.
Oh no.
I got 1,000 votes on it. 1,000 people voted. Okay.
Okay. All right.
The options were 1, 2, more than 2, or 3 per week.
Per week.
What do you guys think?
I'm gonna say it was more than 2
Per week or per day?
per day.
So I said, how many videos would you like me to see per day? And the options were 1, 2, more than 2. And then I added another option, 3 per week, to make it clear.
I would say 3 per week.
Okay.
I'm gonna say 2 or more per
don't
day.
know what they want.
You said 2 or more than 2 per day?
More than 2 per day.
Okay.
The
I'm gonna
problem,
say 2 per day. I think people don't know what they want though.
the problem with this poll is that it's a selection bias. The people who are going to answer are the people who are already your fans.
That's why I'm saying 2 or more.
2 or more day, just because of that. So
Okay. So you want the percentages?
Yep.
Yeah.
1 per day got 30%.
Okay.
2 per day got 9%.
Okay.
More than 2 got 8%.
Ooh. Okay. Way off.
3 per week got 53%.
Interesting.
Right? That's not what I would have expected at all. Manny was right. But so it
that's because people are like
People still don't know what they want. Sorry.
well, indicator, but also because they're like, I'd much rather just see a few like long quality videos, like things, and be done with it. Because if it's too many, I can't even know which one to watch.
right.
So this is you would get the same exact result from, like, if you do email, if you polled people how many emails they wanted to get, it would always be a third or less of what you're actually sending.
No, but email is different, man.
What's that?
Email is so different because email is a sales channel per se. YouTube is an entertainment channel more than anything else.
Yeah.
I mean,
It depends on how you approach it, I think.
But
still,
still,
you're partially right, but yes.
most emails are at least selling something. YouTube is just straight up entertainment or learning. And then sales comes much later, if anything.
So I would say that it would make sense. The only way that it makes sense to do fewer videos is if you can really be selective in terms of what you're doing so that they're like super SEO optimized.
Right.
To me, like if somehow taking the extra time or doing, slowing down lets you be more selective and targeted in as far as like what the content, the type of content that you're producing, that is a benefit. But otherwise, I don't see a benefit to doing less.
I see a huge benefit in doing fewer. Just the fact that if you do fewer, but even if you do just 1 or 2, but they're like 5x the quality, the shareability goes up through the roof.
Right.
And that not just your channels of viewers who are viewing, there are others outside the channel that start to view and start to, like, YouTube will promote that video a lot more, and you get a lot more views per subscriber ratio. Because right now John is probably at 1% for his videos, but damn, man, there are guys who are killing it with like up to 10% or more per video, but they only do 2 videos a week. 10% is so much bigger because it gives so much more traction.
So
Well, but so if you do one video a week and you're getting 10% versus doing 14 videos a week where you're getting 1%, you're still reaching a lot more people.
No, you're not.
Yes, you are. I've analyzed this with email. Where if you send
people again and again, and that will probably show in a subscriber to viewer ratio. If you look at the ratio of people who are in the views, you see subscriber to non-subscriber. What is it, John, right now? You're probably at 70-30 right now.
Of subscriber to non-subscriber?
Yeah.
Let me see here.
What Sean Cannell and these guys are saying is you should be above 90% non-subscribers, because that's the only time when YouTube is actually taking your videos to other people.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, because if it's mostly your subscribers watching it, then you're not getting the reach that you could be.
It's not getting bigger.
Okay, so let me see. Subscriber. Let's see what's.
I'm sure there's an experiment you can run to test this.
What is it under? Is it under? Oh yeah, subscribers. Is that what it is?
Oh, if you go to your phone, it's much easier. I can show you on the phone.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's got it on there. Let me see.
Let me pull it up.
It's somewhere on the other one too, but here. Let me see.
90 is a healthy ratio. Anything less is like kind of getting.
I've got not subscribed 61.5%, subscribed 38.5.
Yeah, so you were way out there. You were like 60-40.
Yeah.
While saying you should be 90-10.
So okay, so top comment on that poll is actually this guy that I really dislike, this gay guy from San Francisco that hits on me on the fucking live streams. But he says your channel has 100K plus subs, but you're constantly getting less than 2K views. You have to stop spamming your subscribers with low quality content so they might actually click on a video when they see it. Optimize content titles and thumbnails for the YouTube algorithm. Do some keyword research. And he's got 44 upvotes on his comment.
Yeah.
So
There's probably some truth to that.
So there's probably some truth to it for sure.
The thing is, like, yeah, this would be interesting to test because it depends how noisy the subscribe channels are. So like if people are primarily watching these from notifications or something, and if your voice goes down, there's going to be somebody else that is just going to get more room in the inbox. That's the problem. It's like it's crowded.
Yes and no, because what happens is with high quality videos, you look forward to them. You will watch all of them just because you were like excited about that one, and you're like, oh, like Alpha M or maybe Real Men Real Style or Athlean X, they just produced a video. I want to watch it. So it becomes a very different game at that point.
I'd just try it for a month and see if anything changes.
Well, yeah. Here's what I suspect. I suspect that that what happens is like when I was first starting out and creating like 2 videos a day, it was good because I was getting like casting a very wide net and getting a lot of like exposure, a lot of chances to hit, and then also it was helping like to gain the subscriber count faster because the reach was longer, was further, and then at that point like the subscriber to view ratio was not out of whack, right? But I think what's happened now is that it's hit that point of kind of diminishing returns where the channel's big enough with 150,000 subscribers that people aren't looking at the channel and saying, you know what I mean? Like, so the channel itself is able to get subscribers, but the people that are subscribing, the most unsubscribes are coming from people that are just overwhelmed by the content. So I'm wondering, what I'm thinking about trying is just going to 1 video a day to see if that improves things. And the other part of it is too the YouTube algorithm, right? Because what you said, Josh, and what you said, Manny, are both true, but in different ways, right? So like, logically, if I only get 1,000, let's say, views per video, if I make 14 videos or 15 videos a week, that's more views than if I do 1 video a week that does 10,000 views or something like that, right? But here's the thing. If I do 1 video a week or 3 videos a week and they do like 3,000 or 4,000 or 5,000 views, those videos, the view per hour count is higher on it, so it has more velocity, so YouTube's more likely to promote it because it's getting more traction, right? So that's what I'm starting to think about, is like maybe doing like lesser videos so that more of the subscribers watch them in a shorter period of time, right? Will help boost it outside of the channel.
So you're bleeding off by having 2 or 3 per day. You're bleeding off the momentum from each video. Like the next one that comes out is cannibalizing the previous one.
So,
right.
So that's one angle to look at. Here's the other angle to look at. So one angle is you're thinking from the algorithm perspective and the fact that you get more views and velocity and all that stuff. The other angle to think of is what would make the video more shareable, and what kind of videos would, like, why are certain specific videos becoming, like, going from that angle, like, how can I make this video more shareable? So that means you would have to change some of the content strategy per se.
Right. Yeah.
Strategy, or like look at other guys and figure out what is it that they're doing that you could use to do that, because then you're actually infusing some new blood into the video types now, right? Because you do video types mostly advice type, but again, like if you did very specific 10 ways to do this, or like anything, like there's so many different angles to go after when it comes to virality and like trying to figure out a way to get them to be shared more. But figuring that out, like how you can change the content to get that, rather than how you can work the algorithm to get that.
I like the way you're thinking about this, Manny, because I was going to chime in too. You know, are people leaving because they're overwhelmed with too much content, or is it because you're all over the place and you're not giving them the content they actually want? And if you're putting out the content they want, then they're more likely to share it, and it's going to get more traction that way.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So it'll probably be possible. I'll have to talk to Rodrigo too about like making the content, like if there's half as many videos, what can you do to the quality of the content, right? As far as, you know, and plus what I can do on my side of like making it 5 ways to, you know, doing that kind of video perhaps.
Mm-hmm. Well, some of it's going to be structure and some of it's going to be content matter.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Both you and Rodrigo together, like music, B-roll, but also like just the animation sometimes. Like if I look at the videos of Alpha M lately, he's so animated and infused, and he doesn't care if he's going to promote the damn product and do an affiliate promotion. It doesn't matter, because he's totally like, I'm looking at different guys like to see why there are certain videos that are just going fucking crazy nowadays. And it's interesting, like how channels are just killing it with engagement more than anything else.
Yep.
I'm like 2 to 3% right now, but I'm also very concerned. Like 2 to 3% is no good either. I want to get it to freaking 10%. But I'm getting to the point, John, where I'm thinking of just going with animation all the way. Nothing else, just animation all the way, because animation is like 10 to 100x more shareable, just straight up. And what I'm seeing is there are guys who have like really basic knowledge, but just because it's animation, it just gets shared like fucking crazy.
Right.
Literally like 5 ways to wake up early. Like I'm like, oh, here we go again.
An alarm clock. Set a backup alarm clock.
So,
like what you will often find is the simpler knowledge gets way more engagement than more advanced knowledge.
Yeah.
Well, it's because most people don't have the deep background that you would need for a lot of the more advanced stuff.
It's almost
so they get a bigger payoff for the more simple stuff.
You know, it's another option too, is to split the channel too. So make a new channel. And if I'm doing 2 videos a day, just put 1 video on each channel, right? And then the content's more divided, right, against the type of content, right? Like, and maybe the answer is like 3 channels where it's like divided, you know what I mean? So that people that are subscribed to one channel, they're getting exactly what they're wanting, right? And then I can still do the topics and the things that I'm interested about.
Can't you do that with playlists though?
I'm already doing that with playlists, but it's still like when you're subscribed to a channel, you see the videos come out, and it's
right.
Yeah. So.
Yep.
If you aren't subscribed to playlists, unfortunately, that would be a good feature.
Yeah. It would. Yeah. So one thing I would say too is I wouldn't optimize for YouTube's algorithms, I would only optimize. The only thing I would pay attention to would be SEO, because I've never seen any consistent patterns. Any of these algorithmically curated platforms, Facebook, Google, Medium, or Facebook, Medium, Twitter, I've never seen any consistency. It's like a total crapshoot, and it depends on a million variables that you can't control. And I don't think it's possible very consistently to reverse engineer and consistently do well on those platforms, unless you're just, the only way to do it is to create a crap ton of content and just try a gazillion things, and then if something goes viral, see if you can put some extra weight behind it. But yeah, I mean, like I've seen, like on Medium, I've published a ton of stuff on Medium. The read time has, like, they claim that they're going to give it viral exposure if you get high read times and high likes or claps or whatever you get on Medium. And I've had stuff that did really well and absolutely went nowhere. Like, it just doesn't. It's like Perry Marshall talks about the 90-10. It's like the top five out of 20, the top 2 or 3 things are going to get all the exposure. Everything else gets nothing. And that's how anything that has a viral curated component to it, seems to be that way. Yeah. So it's like a home run or it's nothing.
Pretty much, yeah.
Josh, I would take exception to that rule of yours, because I agree, SEO in the long term is really good. Like, literally, some of my books that have been around for like 3 years, 4 years, they like smoke everything else, like in terms of performance. But that's like long term. Like, it takes a couple of years to get to the point where it actually starts to show the results.
Right.
On YouTube's platform, unfortunately. However, if you, with trial and complete trial, I guess it's a trial and error process, but over time you figure out what gets engagement, you can literally blow this shit up. Because I'm seeing this right now with a bunch of channels who know exactly, like we were talking about Amy Landino, right? Amy Schmidar, John. She went from getting 1 to 2% views to suddenly getting like 20, 30% views on her videos. It's ridiculous. And I'm just sitting there wondering what the fuck happened. And I'd love to like pay her $1,000 just to learn what the hell did she do to figure this shit out, or what happened.
I mean,
here.
Are you seeing people that are able to take channels with that, like brand new channels, and grow them exponentially just by manipulating, like going for viral?
Not manipulating. So I think that we have to take off our marketer's hat and content producer hat and think like, what makes people so interested and intrigued about this content? Like, why would people watch and share this? Like, why are people watching this and sharing this again and again? Because sharing is where you start to see massive share and watch time. If your watch time on the views goes up, like if it's a 10-minute video and you're getting 6-7 minutes, you are killing it. And if people start to share it, then YouTube is going to like just bless you with all sorts of things. But we have to identify, why is it shareable? What makes it so engaging? And why are people watching the damn thing? So I think there is some science behind it, or not science, but there's some madness behind it. But if we continue to do the experiments, we'll figure out what it is.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's just the camera placement and the thumbnail. Sometimes if the camera is placed just right here, right, just right above the cleavage line, and then every, like an animated, like kind of like bounces up just a little bit above that line, that tends to make the watch time be really, really long.
Give her some credit. She's good.
I'm just saying I'm giving her credit, but I'm just saying that's also a pretty viable strategy, which I've noticed.
Right now, Pat Flynn is getting no real engagement on YouTube. I've been watching his videos. All the diehard fans of Pat Flynn are the ones who watch this, and he gets like 2 to 3% views, which is good.
Yeah.
Nowhere close to 10, 15% where we can talk like, okay, this is like he's producing real legit stuff now, and he's trying to figure it out. But he has the same number of subscribers as Amy Schmidar, and she does 1 video a week, but she just fucking kills it.
Yeah, well, I think Pat has another issue, and that is that people have followed him for a long time, so they see him on YouTube and they just hit that subscribe because they like him, kind of like people like stuff on Facebook, And so, you know, his engagement is just not going to match up.
He's a podcaster who's moved into YouTube versus being a YouTuber.
Yeah.
And so I think we're going to see the same, you know, some of these other folks who are YouTubers or, you know, have a much more focused niche. And so, you know, people are going to subscribe because of the content instead of the personality.
Yeah.
If Amy started a podcast, it would take her a long time to get traction with that.
Well, she could drive traction from her YouTube. And the difference is that, you know, eventually people subscribe or unsubscribe if they're not listening to the shows, whereas YouTube, a lot of that can just be passive.
It won't take that long. Another girl to watch is Amanda Bucci, who started with Instagram, grew crazy with Instagram, then moved on to YouTube, grew crazy on YouTube, got 200,000 subscribers, and then now podcasts, and she's just blown that shit up. And she's only like 24. It's unbelievable. Her journey has been incredible to watch. But same shit, like her engagement is really good for specific kinds of videos, and her podcast is like blowing up as well. It's not that hard, like going from one channel to another. If you are, and I'm sure Pat will get there as well, given his reach and scope with other people and his connections. But not right now. He's not seen it. He's just doing a shit ton of. He's doing like 3 or 4 videos a week, even more.
Yeah.
But Amy does one. I think she just does one.
Yep.
John, you might just have to take off your shirt every time.
There we go. Cleavage starts at 1:00.
The previous countdown timer, and
Yeah.
you never know when it really happens.
Well,
There we go.
so
That
my
guy in
theory-
SF will like that.
my theory is, well, I'm going to test doing one per week and see how that goes. But my theory is, if I can take the subscribership I have and concentrate it into like even like one video a week might be ideal. If I did one video a week, if I got 10,000 views on that video because I'm only doing one per week, it might actually make it have 20 or 30,000 views, which would be more than doing 14 videos a week. You know what I'm saying?
Do it for a month. Just keep doing your daily videos and just queue them up. Don't publish them.
No,
Do it for a month.
no. I again, you guys are going from the wrong angle. You're going from the angle of how do we see if we can make the algorithm work our way. No. You have to
But you
think-
got to test one thing at a time. That's
Yeah.
why.
So that's why I'm saying you have to focus on how do you make this damn video so good that people will share it. Not just just one video for the sake of doing one video. That's not going to work. That's not even a good test. It's just going to fail. As in, you will get some results, but it's not going to get you any kind of results compared to if you said, I'll focus all of my energy that I put on creating 7 videos and focus that energy on creating one goddamn awesome video. And what's his name? Rodrigo is going to help out, create all the B-roll and the music and all the effects and really make it like badass.
Yeah.
That is a different test than saying we'll just do one video.
It is a different test, but I want to try the one video a week test first, just to see what algorithmically if that makes a difference.
Okay, but I would not call that test a success or a failure in the one video a week question, because you didn't really like the guys who are doing one video a week are literally putting all their 7-day energy into that one
Right.
video.
No, this is the question of whether or not which path to take, right? So it's like, if I go down to one video a week and that has a more positive result, then it's like, okay, now we're at that waypoint. Now we say, okay, from one video a week, if I tweak this and I do, there's 2 options. You could test doing like 3 videos a week, or you could test saying, okay, now what if we put some B-roll footage in? What if we made it so that when we do the one video a day, that they're always like 5 ways to do something, 17 things, and see how that does.
Like, here's my take on it. I think that the stuff the tactical stuff, like trying to put share hooks and stuff into stuff, is a very small factor in the overall success. And what actually makes the video work or not is the hook, like the concept. And so that's where, like, if you spend more time developing good concepts, it's like what we're talking about with the sales page, right? Like, you could hyper optimize and have all this NLP crap all throughout the page, but if the thing at the top of the page is wrong, no one's going to read it. It doesn't matter. Like what matters is the big idea of the video.
Well,
So, and if you can put the time and like with headlines, copywriters will write 50 or 100 headlines for a sales page.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty common practice because you just need the reps to get to the right one.
So, okay. So view time is like the most important thing for YouTube's algorithm, right? So here's the thing. This is why, if you think about it, the most effective video format is to say 5 ways to blah, 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 10 things you didn't know about blah, blah, blah. It's a listicle. Why? Because if you watch, like, you want to know what number 9 is, right? Especially if you say at the beginning of the video, okay, we're going to start, number 10, and we're going in backwards order, number 1 being the best, right? Then people are going to watch to the end of it because they want to know what it is, right? Even if it's total crap, like Manny was saying, it's like 5 ways to wake up earlier. Well, they're like, well, maybe number 5 will be awesome, even though the first one was like, set an alarm, and the second one was set a backup alarm, and the third one is have some coffee. Like they're holding on for number 5, and they still watch the shit video, right? Which makes the view time on the video go up. So, that's unfortunately, I think that's the most effective format. If you look at even guys like, really in the men's space, Alpha M is the most successful with like, was he like 3 million subscribers? 4 million. Every single one of his videos is 5 ways, 10 ways, 7 things.
2.7. Yeah, exactly. Every one of them is like that. And same with Evan Carmichael.
Yeah.
10 rules of success every fucking time, and consistently. Yeah, but that's just one angle to think of. Like, okay, listicles will break. Listicles will make that shit happen. But even if you watch the listicle stuff, again, another guy to watch is How to Beast. It's just,
How to Beast. Okay.
Yeah, he has very similar stuff as you in the sense he's young. Well, similar in a different way, but he's like beast mode in health, nutrition. Even he talks a lot about dating, looking good, entrepreneurship, all that stuff. But he gets tremendous engagement because of his like very in-your-face kind of style of videos.
Right.
Alpha does, right? Compared to more laid-back style, which is what I feel like I'm doing or you're doing or some of those things. So I'm like constantly, I'm almost convinced like no more. After this meditation thing is done, I'm just going straight whole hog into animation, and that's it. I'm just gonna become an animation powerhouse more than anything else.
Do you see better engagement on the animation videos?
Yeah, almost like engagement. Ask John. John's most shared video in the last 2 months or 3 months now.
What? Oh, is what the? I don't have access to the to that thing. What was it called?
The mental toughness video, right? Morning Fame.
Yeah, I don't have access to that anymore, so I don't think I can see it.
But the Morning Fame video, like it told you, right? How much shareability you got on the animation video. It was crazy compared to what you got on normal videos.
Yeah, I'm not. I think it was. If I recall. Too bad there's no way. Well, in analytics, can you see share? Yeah, you can see sharing. Let me see here. So if I look at analytics, I look at sharing. So number of shares over time period. How to fix an iPhone speaker no sound problem has 51 shares. Creating a test automation framework architecture in Java has 50. Java learned Java programming for years has 48.
But you also have to look at the age of the videos.
Yeah, let me see.
So the Java ones are from the 1990s.
Do in the last 4 months or something, because I think that one came out in February sometime.
Okay, let me do like in the last. Let's do the last 90 days.
Yeah. More than 90 days now.
Yeah, it's basically that stupid test automation framework architecture one is 182 shares. Web development versus software development. I don't know. Mental toughness is on the list, but it's not as high. It's 51 shares, so it's got a 0.6%, whereas the highest one has 2.1% share ratio.
Okay, fair.
So It's still up there for sure, but
And also because we didn't start off with the animation, we started off with your beautiful face.
maybe yeah, I don't know. Part of me is also like, shit, maybe this, like, I mean, all the software development ones, maybe we just like make the channel back to software development. The only problem is like then we need a new face, Josh, like for the video.
Yeah, I don't want to get into that right now. I would at some point it would make sense, but I don't have the bandwidth for another media channel right now.
Yeah.
Josh's YouTube channel?
For what?
Josh is going to start a YouTube channel?
No, I would get somebody else to do it for sure.
Yeah. Weak threads. Like Vinsanity. Though I don't think, John, you think the guy Vince is now replaceable in that business?
Who?
In Vinsanity? In VShred?
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I mean, over time, you can phase out anyone, right? You just have to bring on like a co-host, and then have to have a lot of those videos, right? That's what that Athlete X dude is doing with his assistant guy. I think we'll see what happens in the next 2 years, but
Dr. Josh did it too.
Yeah.
Actually, I should that's why I'm more and more now going into animation side of things, because I feel like that's where it wouldn't matter if it's me or if it's anyone else doing those. Get the traction without me being involved. So like my focus after I get this meditation thing out is just to build a team of animators more than anything else.
That's true. And then if you can just like get that going, then you don't even have to do the summaries. Essentially, like you can just give it to someone.
Yeah, I mean we can still do the summaries, but once we get the key skill is animation and like creating engagement through those things.
Right.
It's going to be like what I do for fun anyways. But if I can create a team of like 4 or 5 quality animators who can churn out these videos on a daily basis, because the content is not that hard to produce compared to, or the script is not that hard to produce compared to the animation work.
Right.
So that's going to be my next big task.
I love that we're back to 2-hour EntreProgrammers.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say we should probably do thought too.
Probably.
It's only been 92 minutes, Chuck.
I know, but by the time
John's gonna have a 15-minute thought.
That's right.
So you got to pat, and then the rest of us will all be 2 minutes. So we'll be close.
I'm still looking forward to John talking with his shirt off from now on YouTube.
It will be just about the what do we call it?
Just above the nip line. There we go.
There we go. Then I can feel inadequate in a whole new way.
Yeah. And in fact, hey, watch How to Beast, watch his earlier videos and watch his new videos. And
Okay.
How he has evolved that thing. Because I think Alpha has been doing the same format for almost 3 years. I haven't seen anything change in his format. Even then, 3 years ago, he was promoting products in his videos. This guy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's some element to it also that, like, I don't know, like, am I trying to like achieve, obviously you try and achieve somewhat of a goal, but there's a balance between like, just like trying to achieve the goal and like doing what you like doing. So,
but
you know,
if you see positive results, it wouldn't be hard to make that thing, what you like to do, work in that angle or in that.
Yeah. I just don't like doing the listicle format, like, but I don't know. But I can always make just a really fucking long monologue, like 5 monologues tied together as a listicle.
Here's one way to look at it. You don't have to make it listicle, right? You do your job and let Rodrigo make a listicle out of it.
Oh, interesting.
Right? Let Rodrigo splice the video up and put the transition music or the transition B-roll, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. Now that means Rodrigo will have to get much smarter with all these things. Well, he'll have to become a marketer more than think like a marketer as well as you think like an animator, which is, I'm not sure if it's like easy to do.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, the other thing is you don't have to do every single video that way.
Yeah.
Just do it where it really makes sense, where it's going to drive home the
Right.
point you're trying to make.
And so some of them actually, get that momentum. Yeah. Okay.
And listicle is not the silver bullet. Listicle is just one simple thing. It's going to add a few percentage points. There's still a lot more to creating engagement, which is beyond listicle, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
We're trying to unlock here.
All right. Shall we do our thoughts for the day?
Let's do thoughts.
So I'll go ahead and go first. I mean, I've been thinking a lot this week about big life questions, for obvious reasons. I think, honestly, we talk a lot about YouTube. We talk a lot about marketing and work and things like that. And a lot of times it's easy to just get so focused on that stuff that you kind of lose sight of the other things, or that I do want to create a comfortable life for my family, and so I don't want to discount that at all. But at the same time, you know what? Sometimes you just need to take the time, take the time out to hold them and let them know that you care, and make sure that they know that, things are okay. And I mean, my kids saw me basically break down uncontrollably crying this morning, and you know what? It's okay to be human. And it's okay to, to focus on the other stuff periodically. And I find that a lot of times I don't take the time for that. And then it all builds up, and then, and then I wind up unleashing, so to speak. So, make sure that you know why you're doing it, and then just take a minute and be with the people that really matter to you.
True.
Big theme for me this week has been continually reminding myself about how I need to be looking to let go of things, and looking for other people, where other people can help me get stuff done. So I've been wanting to test for like the last 6 months. I've been wanting to I need to revamp our lead magnet. I need a better lead magnet than what I've got. The book, we tried the book. The book converted great, but we didn't make any sales with those people. So I need to basically what I need to do is test 20 different things and see which one of them is going to bring in the best quality leads. And I've been just putting this off because it's a lot of work. I do not want to, because you have to test a different, really all I'm doing is testing headlines. And to do that, I have to create the lead magnets. No, and I kept getting, what's that?
You don't need to create lead magnet to test lead magnets.
Well, go ahead. I'm interested.
I just had to say it because I went through the same song and dance in my head for a long time. But once you finish, we'll talk about it.
Okay, all right. So what I realized though is that all I need is so for me a lead magnet's going to have, I'm already thinking about the funnel behind it and all that stuff. All I need is a headline and something that I can deliver that remotely resembles what I'm promising in the headline, right? I don't even care about initially, I don't even care about the quality, because 19 out of the 20 of them are probably going to suck. So what I realized is that we have this writer that we've been working with, Sheena. And I'm like, oh, I'll give Sheena a headline and just have her go okay, I told her go spend 2 hours. I want this to take 2 hours, no more. Go look at blog posts, YouTube videos, pull together some sort of PDF that we can deliver for the headline, 7 Habits of Highly Successful Software Developers. $30, and I have a PDF, I can test that headline. So I've had a couple things like that happen this week. I'm just I was just assuming that I needed to do it, and oh gosh, I really don't want to have to spend time putting this together, and nope, don't need to. So hopefully she will get that to me this afternoon and I can test it.
So can I suggest something on top of it?
Yeah, go for it.
So I was struggling with the same thought, and that's why my lead magnet was fucking kept
Sign up for my newsletter.
Yeah, no, not only that, I tried a bunch of them and they were all fucking so much work every time, so I was cringing. Then all I did was I sent out an email to Well, I'm thinking of pre-products, and these are the headlines. Which one do you want? So that survey itself was my lead magnet. Like the survey told me what it is they want. So I didn't have to go through this whole song and dance of creating everything and the funnel on the back end of it. I just offered them shit, and they told me exactly what they wanted.
Did it work? I mean, how did your lead magnet end up converting well?
I'm converting it around 4%, 4 to 5, compared to what I had earlier, which was like 2 to 3%. And they go stale over time, so but like that was such a time saver in my opinion, because otherwise I would have kept on testing shit, not knowing what would work.
Interesting. I'll have to try that out. Cool.
Yeah. Let me see. Okay, I think my thought for the week is that trying to think how to phrase it. So we talked about this before, but like your reality is much stranger than fiction. Just this idea that like sometimes you have to like see something and it will shake your reality and completely change the level at what your belief is, but you have to see it or experience it. And when you have those moments when that happens, it completely, you go from one level of thinking something's impossible to rapidly believing that it's the easiest thing in the world, right? But it's so hard to force yourself up that curve. It requires some kind of an experience or something that even sometimes like knowing, like seeing someone else do it is not enough, because we see this all the time, right? In businesses, we see people that are successful that are able to do things that we're not able to do. And sometimes that helps us to have the belief, at least that like starts our belief that maybe this is possible, right? But having a solid experience yourself of accomplishing something that you thought was impossible, that's like a quickly transformation experience, right? And so I think what ends up happening is that you have this kind of buildup of you go from the stage of complete non-belief, disbelief, and most people I think stay there in that skeptic zone, and then you kind of go to the stage of, well, other people are doing it, but I'm not sure if they're charlatans or if there's something fake about this, right? And then during that phase, like you're sort of like, if you're working on something, you're sort of developing the skill set, you're developing the belief, and then you need some kind of like a catalyst like this, just like to make a chemical reaction happen, where suddenly you have an experience, and now you're standing on a much more higher ground, right? And now you have that belief system, right? And I think that just applies in a lot of areas of life, and it's something that you can't like particularly force. But once that happens, then it's like you have this stagger step up this ladder that you're climbing. So there we go.
Yeah, I'm with Chuck today on thoughts. Just the fact that sometimes we get all excited about or heard about small things in life, but very few things matter. And the things that do matter a whole fucking lot more than all the other small shit ever will. So, the people in our life are probably the biggest commodity, not commodity, the biggest thing we have in our lives. So it's always, literally that's, yeah. Yeah, I should be talking with my mom right now, but it's too late. 11 o'clock in India.
Cool.
All right,
guys.
see ya next week.
See ya.
Wanna start a business, but you just know how to code? Listen to John, Josh, and Derek as we figure it out. We are the EntreProgrammers, and we'll teach you straight up to be developers.